welcome everyone to, thanks for Mariana. Welcome everyone to the Learning and Digital Manager role webinar at AAC. We're going to get started straight away so we have time for all your questions. My name is Sophia Balderson. I am Head of Programs at Animal Advocacy Careers. And with me is my colleague, Anna. Anna, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Anna. I am the marketing manager at AAC, and I'm working part-time.
Brilliant, thank you so much. So we are going to get started with your questions. I really want to make sure that we have time for all your questions. This webinar is completely yours. And any of your questions that you ask today are not going to be part of the application. So feel free to ask us anything. We're just really keen to make sure that you resolve any uncertainties during this webinar and be able to apply confidently if you decide so, which we very much hope. Right, so we're going to be using an app called Slido. Anna, would you like to share it?
Yeah, I will put the link in the chat. Basically, you can just access this link and add your questions there, and then other people can upvote your question, and you can also upvote others' questions so that we are not repeating questions, and we can answer the questions that most people are interested in hearing the answer to.
Yeah, and also feel free to raise your hand and unmute yourself and ask your question this way. We're going to be answering questions in the order that they are upvoted. But while you are putting your questions on the board, I thought I would just give you a very quick overview of the role. So I hope that you all had a chance to have a look at the job description. So this role is called a Learning and Digital Manager, and it's very exciting. This is a completely new role. And this role is going to be really taking responsibility of the whole learning experience of our audience. Because as you know, Animal Advocacy Careers' mission is to place people in the roles to help animals in the most impactful way. But what we found that when people visit our website, they don't always know what choices they have, and they don't always understand the opportunities. And because we really want to build a diverse and resilient movement, we really want to make sure that whoever visits our website is going to be able to clearly see those options. And we're really hoping that the Learning and Digital Manager is going to come and revamp the experience and make sure that people can quickly see where they can fit in the movement and get engaged at the level that's appropriate for them. So that's basically very shortly about the role. I can see that there are some questions coming already. Thank you so much for that. Please, everyone, could you have a look at this link and upvote the questions that you want, and feel free to also put your own questions. I'm going to get started in the order of voted. The first question reads, the contract is for 20 hours a week. Are those set hours, or does the person in this role set their own schedule? How's it tracked? This is a really great question. So at AAC, we have a very autonomous culture. We rely on people to deliver results that are appropriate to their responsibility and the role. And we really want to give people the autonomy of how they can schedule their time. So the hours are completely flexible. You can work at any time you want. And we don't actually track the hours of contractors. What we do is we just ask for an estimation, and whenever we assign tasks and talk about responsibilities, we just roughly think, okay, well, you have this many hours. I think that, you know, the person that they themselves take the responsibility to think, right, how long will this task take me, and they'll report back to us. So I actually wonder whether, Anna, you could give a bit of an overview to this, because you manage this really well, and I think you have like the same, almost the same amount of hours.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just, to be honest, I don't have like a very fixed work schedule. Sometimes I work on weekends, and so it's like you can really manage your own time. What I do to know, like, it's important to know like the hours you're working in each project. So I'm using a tool called Clockify, and I just turn it on every time I'm working on a task, and then I change to another task, and I will like change it, so that it's important for us to know the time spent in each project, so that then we can assess the impact and everything. But it's pretty easy. It's just like time tracking, and luckily there are these tools. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anna. And just to reiterate, like we are not actually monitoring the hours. Like I don't have access to Anna's Clockify. It's just completely for Anna. It's her decision, the way she tracks it. And like all we talk about in our meetings are literally results. And Anna is completely in charge with like of her schedule and like the projects that she works on. Hope that answers the question. Thank you very much. Next question. What is the main challenge with, I think it is, content you're facing at the moment? Example, high drop-off rates, awareness, making learning more fun and engaging. I actually wonder, Anna, do you want to answer this one? Because you know, I think a little bit more about this than I do.
Yeah, so it depends on the channel, actually. For example, for our online course, we really want to increase the completion rate. It is already good when you take like the average of completion rates of online courses, but we want to improve it even more. And another thing is like, I think one of the most important things is a very long-term perspective that it's a bit hard to measure in the short term, but it's like actually getting people to take action, you know, actually making them to start applying for more jobs and actually get jobs in animal advocacy organizations. So this is like, I know it's like a more longer term and more hard to measure like in the short term, but this is the most important thing. We don't have a really high bounce rate or anything, but we need, like Sophia was telling in the beginning, we need to make it more clear to people for them to understand what is their next step, depending on like the step of their career that they are and things like this. I'm not sure if it replied to the question, but
I think your video is frozen, but I think I heard most of your answer. But it's fine. Yeah, I can see you now. Yeah, I think that I totally agree with Anna. I think we just really want as many people as possible to come on the website, regardless of whether they had experience in animal advocacy or not, understand that this is a very important topic to work on, and then visit the job board, apply for jobs, take those small actions. And this is like exactly what we want the learning and digital manager to focus on. So thank you so much, Anna. I hope that answers everyone's question. Next question. What is the main, I don't know, that's it. Can we mark it as responded? Maybe Anna, you could do that as an admin. But I'll move on to the next question. What designing tools are you using at the company? So I don't think we actually use anything fancy. We just use Canva. But I think the person who will join us as the learning and digital manager, hopefully maybe you can use like wireframes when designing new websites. You know, you can also be creative. Like I don't think that this role will need like high design skills, but it would be great, of course, whatever you bring to the role. So yeah, hope that answers your question. Okay, next question. What are your greatest hopes for what the ideal candidate can contribute and bring to the table? Wow, what a question. I think we just, and Anna, feel free to also chip in. I think that we just really want someone to increase the engagement on the website. We really want the person to deliver the conversions from the visitor to that job that these people get, because we are interested in placements. But between the visiting or finding out about AAC and the placement, unfortunately, is a long and arduous journey, as you can imagine, finding a role and especially moving fields. So I think we're really hoping that this person who's going to start with us will have or will develop a very good understanding of what that person is going to go through and what nudges we need to give them, what decision making support do we need to provide to them at each little stage of that process. And how they can make it easy and fun, basically. Anna, anything to add?
No, that was a perfect answer.
Oh, thanks. That's very kind. Okay, next. That was a really great question. Feel free to raise your hand as well, if you have if you want a clarification or anything isn't making sense. Okay, is this role more appropriate for someone who is early career, or would it be suitable for mid-career professionals as well? I think it would be suitable for actually all career stages. We are not specifying this as early career, mid-career, or late career at all. And I think it's because we know that all experience can be potentially beneficial, but it's not just the experience that we're looking for. I think we're looking for proactivity and real desire to help the people to be placed in these roles. And whatever skill set you will bring to this, even if you're just coming out of college, or maybe you've already been in the industry for 20, 30 years, we're very much welcome to apply for this role. And I think that you'll succeed no matter the experience we're bringing, even though, of course, we very much value experience still. Right, okay. Next question is, what do you imagine a typical day may look like? Well, short question, short answer. Whatever you make it. I think we're extremely autonomous, and I think that this is perhaps the most autonomous team I've ever worked on. Honestly, no one cares what you do on a daily basis and how you work. Literally no one cares. People only care about results. Whenever we talk to each other, whenever we do reviews, we only care about what results have you achieved. And if the result's not there, well, what may be the reason behind that? And then we sit down and figure it out together. And then whatever makes you productive and whatever makes you happy and engaged in your work, you're welcome to organize this completely for yourself. So I guess just perhaps more, maybe you want to see what kind of things we expect this manager to do. And to be honest, again, we're really looking for someone who will come and tell us what they need to do in this role. We are not going to write down a list of things that you need to do every day. We want you to come and tell us what is it that you think you should be doing. And just to give you a really good example of this, when I started at AEC, my manager, our CEO, Lauren, asked me, okay, Sophia, what are some goals that you want to achieve in your first 90 days? She didn't tell me what I should achieve. She didn't write down my day view. She just said, just write down your goals. I wrote down my goals. She was like, yeah, that looks great. And then I just went ahead and achieved those goals. So this is exactly what we would expect you to do. So I hope that that is a clear answer for you. Anna, anything to add?
No, again, not. Yeah, you're saying everything. I think it's perfect. If I have anything to add, I will. But yeah, you're doing great.
Fantastic. Sounds great. Okay. As one who isn't permanently engaged with social media, are there any skills or expertise or certain social media platforms which I should brush up on? I actually don't think so, because this role's responsibility isn't necessarily to publish on social media. And we've already got a social media expert on the team, which is Anna. So if you need any kind of upskilling, Anna will be able to show you the ropes. And I don't think that for this role, I think that we listed it as sort of a potential opportunity. So because if you imagine the learning experience, it will, of course, stretch out to social media. So we thought, well, maybe this person will want to schedule their own posts to really own that experience. So if you are happy to do that, you can do that. If not, maybe not. Maybe you'll just collaborate somehow with Anna. But we don't expect any social media proficiency for this at all.
Yeah, and maybe just adding a little thing. This was a question about social media, but it could be about a lot of things. So you don't have to have any particular experience, because you could come and say, I think that the best way to improve our like audience learning experience and everything, it's going through this channel. Like even like, I don't know, doing videos on TikTok or like anything, something that you might come up with, you know. So it's very, very flexible. Like as long as you like produce the results and achieve this goal, then it doesn't really matter for us what are the specific channels. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. And you can also learn the job because we're all learning all the time. So it's okay if there's something you don't know. As a 12 months contract position, what is the likelihood of the position being extended after 1 year? Yeah, that's a good question. I think it will depend on the performance of this person. So if this role manages to achieve the results that we're looking for, then it may be extended. Of course, it's a two-way process. We know that the person might also want to stay with us or not. Also, I think that it may be due to the funding, but I think that the way we work at AAC is that we heavily prioritize effective programs. So if the person achieves a lot of results on this website that places a lot of roles, and you'll have 12 months to do that. So we believe that 12 months is sufficient to really see the impact of this based on our experience, then we will find the funds and we'll prioritize this program so that it will have the funds. Right, next question. Do you have a system to set and measure team goals like OKRs or SMART goals? Yes, we do actually, and I designed it. So it's very unbiased. It's a spreadsheet, and it's also very autonomous. So you have your own KPIs, so your own measurements of your work, but they feed into the team OKRs, so objectives and key results. And it's actually very simple. I think each person has like maybe 5 or 6 big objectives that they have for the year, and they are like in the agreement with the person, so no one is being pushed any OKRs on them. So you literally, like, I think that Anna, you designed your own OKRs and you track them too. So we have like every month we just ask all the team members to input their results, and then every quarter we have like a team review and celebration of their achievements. Any comments on this, Anna, at all?
No, I was just thinking like we have a lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, but don't worry, it's quite organized. I think not too much paperwork. Try to reduce paperwork.
Yeah.
Are there any regional limitations to people who can apply? Not at all. You can apply from anywhere. I think that technically this role could also work in Australia and like Southeast Asia. The only problem, of course, is that it would be hard to coordinate meetings, but we might be able to find a way. Like maybe you'll attend like an odd late meeting once a month or something. But mostly you can be literally anywhere in the world. It's extremely flexible, and we actually don't have that many meetings. I think trying to be meeting light. Yeah. I haven't been able to find the per annum salary grades. So could you please clarify that? Also, are the tax implications for those in the UK? Yes, that's a great question. So the grade for this position is, I think, $41,000 per year. And the reason we do it in dollars is because AAC is actually like a US registered charity, even though I don't think none of our employees are based in the US. So like we're very international. It's just the best to register in the US. So that's why we specify in dollars. But this position is part-time, which means that the actual pay will be $20,500. And this is the beginning of the manager grade that we have. So we have 3 grades, depending on which grade you get started on. Everyone gets set starting salary. And then as you progress in the organization, every year you have an opportunity to take on more responsibility. and receive a promotion, which also receives a bump in salary. And the tax implications, you have to pay your own tax based on this position. So this is not an employee position, this is a contractor position. And as far as I believe, in the UK, you have to register as self-employed or open like a limited company to be able to comply with the regulations. But obviously, do consult with a professional to find a situation that's best for you. Okay, no raised hands because I don't want to be talking too much, but feel free to raise a hand and ask a question, or maybe type in the chat as well. Are all the people in company vegan? Well, that is a trick question. Thanks for asking. So the short answer, I think they are to the best of my knowledge. However, we don't have veganism as a requirement because we believe that anyone can help animals regardless of their diet. We don't require people to be vegan. We don't ask people to be vegan. Being vegan is not a requirement for this position. We don't rate vegans highly, or we don't deduct points for not being vegan or any kind of thing, because we believe in diversity and we really want to find the best person for the job, and that includes your attitude, your work ability, your experiences, and yeah, that's the answer. If you have any questions about this, feel free to either type in the chat or email us at jobs@animaladvocacycareers.org. Right. Being that I would be in charge of researching/writing new copy for the course, what early research could I do subject topic wise? Well, you could take our online course and then, I mean, we would love you to take our online course because it's a great course and we receive good feedback. So it would be beneficial for you to take it regardless. But you could also think about any courses that you might want to create, maybe any courses that would be useful for animal advocacy. But just to let you know, no preparation like this is required for the role. So we don't expect people to do any extra pre-work before they start, because we believe that everything can be taught on the job within the onboarding process that we have. And actually, I can talk a little bit about our onboarding process once I've gone through the questions, if you're interested. So don't worry about it. Anna, any additions to this?
No, it's a very vague thing too. It comes down to the same thing. Like you would be deciding that. I mean, like you would take the course and you would think, okay, what's missing on this course to make people want to help animals, to make people take action and start applying for jobs that helps animals. It's like it all comes down to like analyzing it, and yeah, we are expecting you to do it.
Yeah, but also we've done research ourselves, so we already have a lot of data. Like Anna's just run like a really great user survey. We just literally ask people, what do you want, and we have prioritized them in order of what people would want, but also what would be the most impactful thing to do. And when you start, you will already have some data to go on, so we will not be expecting you to spend months and months and months looking into this. You can pretty much get cracking because like we've done some of that work, but of course you can do any extra research later. Okay, with a fully autonomous position, is there still room for collaboration, or do you expect there to be to not be a lot of in-team collaboration? I would actually really like Anna to answer that, because this position is going to be very similar to Anna's position, because Anna is an independent contractor, but I work with Anna and you also work with me. So I wonder, Anna, what do you think?
I think it depends a lot on the projects, to be honest, and with the people. For example, I work a lot with Sophia. So like we have a meeting every week and we talk about the project. We do a little bit of brainstorming, everything. So I feel like there's a lot of collaboration with her. But for example, there are some people in the team, for example, our researcher, I don't have so much collaboration with him. We have some like projects that we collaborate, but it's less. So it will depend a lot. I think for this person, they will collaborate a lot with me because like content goes hand in hand with marketing. So I think probably we would have to really be really like in balance, you know, like I would have to for the marketing, I would have to know what you would be working on, what are the projects, what should be like communicated, and you also should know what we are communicating so that you can like include that in the learning experience overall. Yeah, so I think there will be some like a high degree of collaboration in the end.
That's a great answer. And yeah, I think that Eva really nailed, well, obviously talking about an organization I work at, but in my humble opinion, I think we have nailed that autonomy and also like focus time and collaboration. Like we still collaborate, but because our time is limited and because we want to be as impactful as we can, we really try and allow each other as much time during the day to focus on the work and not disturb each other with lots of meetings and stand-ups and updates. Like we just leave each other be until we come together every week with Anna and we just spend an hour talking. And then after that, each of us just goes and does their own thing. And you probably have a meeting with Anna, you probably have a meeting with me, probably once a week with Anna, definitely once a week with me. We have a monthly meeting, which is a team meeting, and very likely you'll also have like a project meeting, maybe a couple of times a month if you're collaborating something. Maybe you'll have some meetings with our audiences to do some user interviews. So it's really up to you. Like if you're craving a bit of co-working collaboration, you can do that. And also we have like a growing network of animal advocates who wants to do co-working sessions together. So if that's a problem that you're afraid that you're going to be too siloed, you could actually find co-working partners within the animal advocacy community and just have that person at the end of the screen to share the work with. So
just to add one more thing, like this doesn't mean that there is no communication at all between me and Sophie and other people during the week. We actually we have our tasks and our work in Asana, and every time I have a question that I need Sophia's answer for my work or something like that, or we have like a random idea that we think it's not like necessary to discuss in the meeting, we just add it in Asana. So like we keep communicating in there, and I think almost every day we like write one message or two in there. It's quite common. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because we really, and thank you for pointing that out, Anna, we really believe in asynchronous communication. So like anything that doesn't require us to be in the same space and same time, we try and outsource that to Asana, which is the tool that we're using. But Asana is really easy to learn. So if you've never used it, don't worry about it. Yeah, so I hope that answers the question, but if it doesn't, please feel free to message in the chat. I'll be happy to elaborate on this, of course. I can see there's a question in the chat, which is actually a really good question. On the vacancy website, it says that we do not need to have any particular experience, yet the form has a mandatory question that is directly related to digital learning, content creation, and or learning psychology. Could you please elaborate on that? Absolutely, and that's a great question. So when we stated that we don't want to have any particular experience, what we meant by this, that we are not going to say we want you to have like say 10 years in learning or instructional design or digital marketing, because we really wanted to allow people to bring their experience outside of work as well. Because imagine if you're a student and maybe you like never even worked, but while you were a student, you helped design a course, for example, or maybe you had a side project, or maybe you are not related to learning, but somehow in your job, you designed something that taught people. And I've actually reviewed most of the answers that have been submitted, and people are bringing in their experience not only from the jobs related to learning, and I'm very, very, very happy to review that and welcome these applications, because we don't believe the years of experience or labeled experience necessarily translates to good working skills. When answering these questions, we have very explicitly provided scoring criteria, so you can see how we'll be scoring in these questions and what we'll be valuing. So if your answer includes these, you will score higher. If your answer does not include these, you won't score. But at no point during the form we're asking how many years of experience have you got in learning and development, digital management, or marketing, or something like this. Does that answer your question? I think it was from Milka. Or maybe anyone has any follow-up questions? Brilliant. Well, I'll let you get back to me on this. Oh, yes, fantastic. Thank you. That was a great question. The next question. What are the different avenues of growth in this position? So we have recently revamped our employee team member development paths. So each, we have 3 levels. So we have an individual contributor, manager, and director. And this position comes right in the middle at the manager level, and each level has 3 different tiers. So when you're hired, you enter at the first step of this position, and then each year you have an opportunity to progress. But you could also, if someone, for example, is performing extremely well and just taking on just so much responsibility, you could potentially move tiers as well, but only when it's like explicitly stated. So we actually have just created a system of work review. So every half a year we'll review each other's work to see what's been achieved, what new responsibility have been added, and then jointly make a decision, like, is this time to progress maybe to the next tier? Or usually, like, in, I guess, 90% of the time, it will be progressing to the next level. So that will be, we have associate manager, which is this role, manager, and senior manager. So just to give you an example, Anna just started with AAC, and that was a year and a half ago. So Anna started at the associate manager, and that was obviously still called same manager, marketing manager. But this year, Anna's moved up a level, and the same thing is going to happen with me in 2 months' time, I think. So every time you move up a level, your title changes. So you get a slightly more senior title, and you also get a pay raise. If it doesn't answer the question, feel free to also ask in the chat. Is there a specific LMS system you're currently using? I've not had a chance to check it out specifically. Is this like learning management system? Anna, do you know? Or whoever asked this question?
I just into Google. yeah. So yeah, we just have the online course that was designed like 2 years ago, I think, when AAC started out, and we haven't yet focused in learning a lot. That's why we are hiring for it now. So yeah, we don't have any kind of system set up or something like this, anything like this. Yeah. You mean, so for our online course, we are using Thinkific, but we are happy to change too, because, for example, we know that there are some system platforms that allow like the creation of more interactive content and more engaging, and like include like gamification and stuff like that. So if you are like going to tell us that we should move to another one, we are totally open to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to reiterate, I think it's very important. Like, we are literally really hoping that someone will come and tell us exactly what needs to happen. Because we are like really open, and all the roles are very autonomous, and this role is no exception. It's completely free for you to design it. If you believe this is the best way to do it, you just pitch it to us, we discuss it together, you do it. And yeah, gamification, absolutely. We want all of that innovation. That's definitely what we want. And thanks so much, Hannah, for your contribution. Okay, what is the biggest overall challenge EC is facing right now? Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I'm really interested in your answer to this question as well, because you kind of work in a slightly different area. But I think for me, like, I just really want to have better pipelines for our talent. Like, I really want to get as many diverse candidates to learn about animal advocacy jobs, and then for them to come and check out the available jobs. And I literally, like, my ambition, I just really want like millions of people to find out about this, because there are jobs out there and some jobs just don't have enough good candidates. So we really want candidates and placements that will go and help animals. Anna, do you have anything to add?
No, I think that's perfect, because that summarizes exactly our mission and what we do. So yeah, I think it ties well with our challenge, because it's like the biggest thing we want to accomplish. And I don't think there is anything particular under that we are struggling with. So it's, yeah, we just like, usually we test a lot of things, so we can come up with a solution to like increase, okay, for example, we want to increase the traffic for our website so that people will apply for jobs and everything. So we are testing different things for that, and some things will work, some things will not work, and when it doesn't work, we just try to change our approach. Yeah, this was not a very clear answer, but we don't have any specific challenges, I think.
Yeah, it's always the numbers. And I think that perhaps I appreciate that all of you are like, oh, is this like a good organization to work for? So I can tell you that we don't really have any operational challenges. We don't have like any team conflicts. Like, everyone is working together really well. Our ops director is doing a really good job. So you don't really have much admin in the ops side of things. Like, we have funding for this role. And also we have some budget for these tools. So there is some freedom there as well. Yeah, and I think that the one thing that I would actually say is that we're really open to feedback as well. So like, if we do have a challenge, we just sort it out really fast, because we just really want to do great work as much as we can. Yeah, so the biggest challenge is really just placing these candidates, but that's why we're hiring for this role. Great question, thank you. Can you potentially work more than 20 hours? So I think that the short answer is no, but the long answer is maybe down the line, maybe, and subject to whether the role actually requires it and subject to funding. So I wonder, Anna, would you like to share your story of your hours switching?
Yeah, so I also started with 20 hours more than a year ago. And this year, like now I'm working 25 hours, but it might increase in some time. Like it's a bit, it's a bit flexible, but it depends a lot on what your role is demanding, like the results that you're having, or also that you could have with the extra time, things like that. Like we will have to assess that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So the default is no, because obviously we're charities, so we have to be very careful with the funds, and we also really want to be fair to the people as well. And whenever, like, this is a new role that we're trialing, and we have noted down the responsibilities and decided that we think that it's going to be roughly 20 hours. But of course, we're happy to the feedback of the person comes in and thinks, well, this is what I can achieve in these hours, but maybe like if I had extra, I could achieve this or this. So we of course could consider, but I think for the foreseeable future, probably unlikely to happen. And also we're trying to be very careful, like by adding the hours, to people's roles, because adding the hours is not necessarily the best solution, because maybe something has to be dropped instead, prioritized. So like maybe if you have too many projects, like one of them has to go. But of course, just to like reiterate, impact is very important to us. So if this role brings a lot of impact, a lot of people landing roles, then we will of course consider upping the hours, because if you can see potential, absolutely, we always put resources into best performing programs. So the answer is no, but it may depend on your performance in the future.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that most of our team is actually working part-time, like 3 out of 5 people. And we are able to accomplish a lot. Like when I started at AAC, I was also like just used to full-time jobs. And I was like, I will be the only person doing marketing, like everything inside marketing, you know, like, will I be able to do anything with part-time, you know? But then actually, you will understand that you're going to get really good at like defining priorities and understanding what are the channels that you really need to focus on. And of course, you will drop some others and you will not like make an effort on the ones that you know are not getting a lot of results. And that's like the most important thing. So yeah, it's I think you'll understand that it's going to be fine.
Yeah, definitely prioritizing. That's actually, I'm really glad that you mentioned it, Anna, because I always say this to like everyone who wants to consider working at AEC, like you have to be so good at prioritizing, because there are like 1,000 things that we can do. We can do so much, but we can only realistically do very little. And I think when I'm not sure how many of you come from the animal advocacy sphere or just nonprofits, like, you know, the resources are so limited. And it's sometimes really hard to get resources for like another full-time person. So in a way, you have to think, right, I only have this limited time. What are the 3 top things that are going to give you the maximum impact? And then go and do this and drop everything else. And that's why we're really good at allowing each other to do that. For example, like recently I spoke to Anna and we discussed that, oh wow, like you have a lot on your plate. So like feel free to prioritize like however you want, so that you only achieve like the results that are meaningful to you and to the organization. So yeah, hope that helps. Right, where are all the different members of the team located? Anna, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I will. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but so I'm in Portugal. Sophia is in the UK. Lauren is in Germany. Engin is in Turkey, and Ania is in India, I think. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, correct. So it's very diverse location-wise. Thank you for answering this. Other than the budget for this position, do you have a surplus budget for tools and technology? What does it look like, if you're open to sharing? So I don't think that we have like a set figure yet. I think we have a marketing budget, and as far as I know, I don't think like most of it is actually being spent, because Anna's being like very frugal. One thing that you probably need to know about AEC as well is that because we're a charity, like we're very frugal in a way that if you can get something for free, like we'll go and get it for free. Like we'll message someone, we'll ask for a discount. If there is like a cheaper tool, like we'll go and hunt for it. And I know that for some people it'll be like, oh well, maybe it's a time wasting exercise, I could just pay for it. But I think when you work in the charity, you kind of have to develop that mindset. Is like, and then recently I was just so impressed, like Anna just found a way to send like automated customized job updates for like $10 a month. And I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. And people quoted us like tens of thousands of dollars for that. So this is the kind of mindset that we expect people to have in this role. However, if you come to us and say, oh, well, do you know what? I have analyzed this, and there is this tool that costs, say, $1,000, and then I feel like it really make a difference, and then made a comparisons to all the other tools, and there isn't like a cheaper one, and I think that this will give me X result. And if it's a good, worthy result, and we think, oh, it's worth the money, like absolutely we'll buy it in these conditions. Okay, if no other follow-up questions, moving to the next one. How is the workload assigned to the team? Well, since I answered the last one. Anna, do you want to try in this one, and then maybe I'll add something?
It is not like, I mean, no one isn't signed anything, I think. I don't remember being, sometimes there might be some small task that someone asked me to do, but usually I just define my own task. Like I'm, for example, I speak with Sophia about the goals that we have to that we want to achieve. And then I will tell her, okay, to achieve these goals, I will do like this task, and like invest in this channel. And yeah, she can like suggest ideas and everything, but usually it's not like, oh, you have to do this. It never happened. It's always like, we will want to hear the opinion of the person who is actually working on it. And like, if you are the person that's going to be in charge of the learning experience, you will be the one that knows the most about learning, you know. So it's really important that you will be the one defining what you will do. Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly the answer. And also, we really want to make sure that the workload is manageable. So I always check in with Anna. Like, I think every week we even have this discussion, like, how's the workload? Is it too much? Like, what can I do to help? What can we drop? And even for myself, like, sometimes because we just do so much, like, sometimes it can get like a bit intense, but then I always stop and think, okay, like, what can I stop doing? How can I switch priorities? Maybe I can do something later. And then we're always learning. And I think that going forward, we really want to have more of a dashboard of like all the projects that we're working on, so that we can clearly see how many hours the team is spending on what. But like, we're definitely not interested in like overworking each other and assigning work that's not doable. Like, we're absolutely interested in people's well-being, and it's very self-directed. Great. Do part-time contractors at AEC have roles in other orgs? Yes, they do. I think that if you're a contractor, like, you can, I guess, just do whatever, like, because as contractors, technically, you don't have to like commit to any specific organization. I mean, Anna, would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, I think we all do actually. I'm working for a vegan marketing agency, like also part-time more or less. Engin also has an organization in Turkey, and Ania is also working for vegan outreach. So yeah, everyone that is working part-time have another job. And to be honest, I find it super useful because I learn a lot of things in the other setting that then I can apply to AAC. And I think that's really great.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anna. Exactly. The only thing, like, I have had some questions via email that asked me like, oh, like, I already have a full-time job. Do you think I can take this on? And the answer is, my personal advice, probably not, because obviously we do want people to be able to commit to this role and to be able to bring the headspace into it, and we don't want to burn out or burn people out who join us. So we recommend that you do have that time spare, but obviously it's completely up to each person how they allocate their time. And obviously we can't tell you how to do that. Brilliant. Next question. Do you use some collaborative project design or management process with some facilitation? Do you rotate the facilitator role? Oh, wow, that's an interesting question. Anna, would you like to say something about this?
I'm not sure if I understood the question, to be honest.
Is this like when we have projects that we rotate who leads these projects? I'm not sure if the person who asked the question is still here.
Like, I guess maybe the answer is no, because we are not sure about, yeah. Usually when we are in charge of a project, we usually don't rotate with other people. But I'm not sure if this is answering the question, because I'm not exactly sure like what's the project design or management process, like if you're talking about tools or like systems, or yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but if you have suggestions of how we can do this better, like you're welcome to suggest it. And we're always happy to improve. And maybe if I, based on what Anna's understanding of this question is, like, I think AC is a very small organization. Like, we're not a multi-million-dollar corporation with like thousands of employees. Like, we don't really have that many processes. I think we're very simple. We really try and focus on delivering high impact work. And whoever owns the project, that person will go and lead on that project. So yeah, that's quite simple. So I hope that answers a little bit. Do you work with volunteers or interns? If not, do you see that changing with hiring for this position? I think, Anna, you worked with some volunteers. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, so we do, but it's like we don't have a volunteer program or something like this in place. We just so we use Vegan Activists Playground for example, sometimes I need to do some tech work on our website, and I'm definitely not a tech person, so I'll go there and I ask some people to help me with it. And yeah, I've worked with like 2 volunteers. They were super nice. They did like, it seems that they do it very fast, but if I was going to do it, I would spend hours researching or asking ChatGPT and still taking a long time. So it's like just specific projects, but of course we would be happy to have more volunteers collaborating. And I'm not sure if this person is meaning like getting volunteers to help creating content and everything. I think that would be amazing if you would want to do that too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good answer. I think we try to err on the side of paying people for the work when it's like permanent. So if we were to bring on like a permanent person, like absolutely we would always pay them, because we really believe in like equity and fairly treating people. So we try not to overuse volunteers, but only from vegan hacktivists, because they have like their own platform. If you don't know vegan hacktivists, you can Google them. They're really good. You can volunteer with them. But as Anna said, like very separate projects that otherwise would be hard, expensive to do, and just really easy for us. But I think that if you ever had a plan and you struggled with and you felt like, oh, I really could do with like someone helping me for like 5 to 10 hours a week, if you can have like a case study of why this will deliver extra results, we will consider it. So we obviously are not planning to hire any help for this role, but maybe we'll consider it. So it just all depends on what you think we need. Okay, next question. Are there any plans in getting AC course accredited? No, but if you think we should, and you have a good reason why, we could do that. But interesting question. Are you currently using the 10K Google Ads grant for nonprofits? I believe we do, Anna.
Yeah. We're like spending everything.
All the freebies, yeah, we definitely use them. Thank you for the question. Are there any opportunities for the team to meet in person? Yeah, that's a great question. So I think some of the team members meet in person anyway, because we go to the same conferences. And if there is like a case for you to go to a conference as well, maybe you could meet the team members there. We haven't had a team retreat, and I think that we have postponed it just for the reason of funding, because we believe that it's much better to spend the money on the programs rather than on the expensive flights. Because you can imagine, like, if all our team is dispersed all over the world, how much money it would cost us. I think in the future we are likely to have a retreat, subject to funding. So if you are very keen to meet people in person, like you will maybe be able to do that, but we don't have one planned, unfortunately. What's your favorite part about working at AC? Anna, would you like to take this one?
Okay, so it's like a lot of things together, obviously it's like making an impact for animals for me, but also the thing I was working a lot in startups before I joined the AAC, and I really love the startup environment because it's like just a small team and you can do a lot of things. I don't have like one thing that I'm doing every day. I work with a lot of different things, and I really love that. The startup environment, like together with the impact, it's the perfect combination for me.
I love that. Thank you so much, Hannah. If I may add myself, I really like the culture in the team. I think everyone's really nice. Everyone's really considerate of each other's feelings, of like how we really try and encourage each other, because obviously we're not in competition. We all want the same thing. So whenever people can help each other, like we will. And yeah, I just really like how impact focused we are. Everything is seen through the lens of how effective is this program at placing people in the roles. And also, like, you learn so much. Like, I've just learned so much in nearly a year this role. It's fantastic and it's so varied. I think that if you want like a really varied opportunity where you can just use like different skills and also learn skills, just pick things up, like, oh, I don't know how to do this, you go on Google, how do I do this, take a course, ask ChatGPT, whatever, and just quickly pick it up, and everyone's really happy for you to do this and support you. Like, I worked with a consultant for our strategic planning, like I learned how to do this, and now I'm leading on this, so I really like it. I think it's hard to fault it, to be honest. So I hope you apply. If this sounds like up your street. And this actually ties in really well with the last question. What would be a great next step to take after meeting you here? Well, if you liked what you heard, if this seems like a culture where you will thrive, if this job seems like something you'll be interested in doing, please fill out an application. Take some time to think about your answers. Make sure you follow the criteria, because we made it really transparent for you to really showcase your skills. Apply. We would love to receive your application. And if you have any other questions, if anything is preventing you from applying, please feel free to email us at jobs@animaladvocacycareers.org. This email is also in the application. So you could ask us any questions. If also something deterred you from applying, we would love to know about that as well, so that we could improve our process. And we have like 3 minutes left. Like, maybe any other questions at all? Or is everyone happy? Oh yeah. Most of my writing experience is in Spanish. We are to send examples of it. Would that be all right to send? Well, I mean, I speak Spanish, so I'll be fine. And obviously there is ChatGPT. However, this role will require writing in English. So if you could submit something in English, that'll be very much appreciated. You could submit something in Spanish and in English, and just say like, this is, I normally write in my native language, because we do want the person to have a high level of writing in English that's required. But an additional language could be an asset to the job, even though it's not a requirement at all. We're not evaluating you based on the job. Oh yes, onboarding process. Thank you for reminding. So we will definitely start with about 2 weeks of learning, and that's at least 2 weeks. So the first 2 weeks you will not be doing any real work, you'll just be learning. So you'll meet all the team members. If you haven't taken our online course, you'll take our online course, which will teach you everything you need to know about animal advocacy. We also have other courses that you could take. Anna's recently prepared like a really good list, so you'll do that. And then also Anna has prepared like a really good user survey results and analysis, so you'll be able to have a look at that. And just learn about our impact. So we'll explain how we assess impact, and this will all be like in bite-sized chunks. So like, we'll try not to make it too overwhelming, just to really make sure that we fill you in on everything we've done, and then you have as much time to like really sit and digest and ask questions. mooch around our website, have a look at our resources, and then have as many meetings with me as you'd like. We can start with like 1 or 2 a week where you'd be able to ask those questions. And then I guess after that, if you need more time to like sit and upskill, maybe speak to someone, you'll be able to do that. And we actually have a 90-day job success plan, which we can go through together. We actually developed it for like our audience, but you could use that. So it has like a really good template and like putting preliminary goals, and we could discuss that. I think it's going to be like not too intimidating, but just like a lot of learning about what we've done. But we're like really interested in your fresh perspectives as well. So you'll be able to give feedback and take notes and what you change. And I guess like lots of time to like sit and think about your ideas really. So we try and make it like really thorough so that you definitely don't feel like you're jumping into the deep end at all. I hope that helps. Okay, well, I'm going to answer one last question. Are you open to someone who's already got a full-time job in the animal welfare space? Well, if you think you can do this, you can apply. I think it's very impressive that you can handle both. I don't think that we have people who have a full-time job and also a part-time job. And obviously we do really want people to commit and to be able to like fully devote 20 hours a week to this job. This is definitely not like a side gig that you can do. Like we really do expect part-time, like half the time commitment. But yeah, do apply if you think you can do it. Right, well, we're over time, but I am just so grateful that you have come to learn about AAC. I'm really grateful for your interest in this role. Please do apply before the 2nd of July and send us any questions if you have any. Thank you so much. Really appreciated your attention and attendance today.
Thank you.
Have a great evening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.